Yeah. What's good? What's good? What's good? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game, man. Super Wild Card Weekend was in full effect. Oh my God. Y'all got to talk to me. Y'all got to talk to me. Y'all got to talk to me. Let me know. Did some of y'all predictions come true? Did some of y'all bets hit? Let me know what y'all saw, what y'all felt, what y'all lost, what y'all gained. Again, you guys locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Smash that like button. Let's get it. Let's do some shout outs real quick. Quasi the Great's in the building. Michael Duhan, EC1 Football. Who else? My man, Mr. Ralph Lauren. Mr. Ralph Lauren. Smitty Eagle, we in the building. I appreciate all the love and support that you guys are always giving me, man. It goes a long way. Let's continue to rock. Let's continue to do this thing that we always do. And let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and also talk about the NFL landscape. You guys, I really enjoyed this past weekend of football. It was great games after great games after great games. And, San Fran kicked it off. And they took care of business against the Seahawks like I thought. Of course, you pray for the 49ers to get knocked out in some shape, way, or fashion. But that guy, Brock Purdy, man, Brock Purdy is he's starting to get my attention. I'm gonna call it like I see it. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan and that team, the play calling, the scheming, they're doing everything to make that guy look good. I'll be honest. They're doing everything to make that guy's job that much easier. And he's getting it done. I can't deny it, man. He threw for over 300 yards, I think 4 total touchdowns. I got to acknowledge what my eyes are seeing. And then that defense, man, we already know. They held the 49, they held the Seahawks to 23 points, but for the most part, that defense dominated the second half, man. It made it easy for Purdy. But, man, the 49ers are going to be a force, man. They are a force. It's going to be really interesting to see how that thing pans out. I want to stay in the NFC right now and talk about that Giants game, man. What? The Giants shocked the Vikings. It wasn't really a shock to me. I personally thought the Giants was going to win that game. I've been talking about it for the past couple weeks. That was something I just felt. It was no doubt in my mind that Daniel Jones, Brian Daboll, Saquon Barkley, and those guys and the New York Giants, there was no doubt in my mind that they couldn't get that job done. Daniel Jones had one of his best games, 24 for 35, 379 total yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Then Saquon Barkley, 109 total yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. And then Isaiah Hodgins, man, who would have thought, came out of nowhere for the New York Giants, man. 8 catches, 105 yards, a touchdown. It was just a really good game, and I just felt like the New York Giants were dictating the pace from beginning, middle, and end. Throughout the entire game, they felt in control, if you ask me. So now the Philadelphia Eagles will face off against their NFC East rival, the New York Giants, in the divisional round. This is going to be an exciting game because the New York Giants are playing their best football, the best football that we've seen them play over the past few years. Daniel Jones is in rare form. Saquon Barkley is back to being the Barkley that we know, right? And they didn't even have to run him into the dirt that game. I think he only had 15 touches. 15 touches, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he only had about maybe 15 to 18 touches. I gotta make sure I got my numbers right, man, because Saquon was really, really good through and through. Saquon had 9 rushing attempts and he had 5 catches. So he had a grand total of 14 touches on the game and he had over 100 yards. Talk about being efficient, man. But they got to come to Philly now. They got to come to Philly. And say what you want about the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Say what you want about Jonathan Gannon. The Eagles defense is better than the Minnesota Vikings. And, John McMullen, he says this all the time. Shout out to John McMullen on Jacob Sports, does a lot of work for Sports Illustrated, covers the Eagles. He's the Eagles insider, one of the best journalists in this city. He said, remember, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing defense the way the rest of the NFL is playing defense. Zone coverage, leaving some space between the DBs and the wide receivers. 60 to 70% of the league is deploying this Vic Fangio style of defense, right? That bend but don't break. And what you saw from the Vikings is the worst version of that. The worst version of that, right? The Vikings defense was Swiss cheese. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. And I give credit to the Giants for taking advantage. As a matter of fact, Wink Martindale, the Giants DC, actually took a page out of Jonathan Gannon's book. Instead of blitzing all damn day, he decided to dial back on the blitzes and allow his DBs to sit back and play coverage. Right? But where the Giants are weakest, and this is where we start to talk about the game plan. This is where we start to talk about how the Eagles can and will beat the New York Giants. The Giants gave up over 100 yards to the tight end, TJ Hockenson. Now, granted, Justin Jefferson wasn't doing his thing. Hockenson had to step up. He became the trustworthy target. I still don't understand how you don't target Justin Jefferson in the fourth quarter. That makes no sense to me. I don't care who you got at tight end. But regardless, the Giants struggled to defend the tight end. So is there a big Dallas Goedert game loaded? Right? Is there a game from Dallas Goedert that we haven't seen yet this season? We haven't really had that breakout Dallas Goedert game this year. Is he due this Saturday against the New York Giants? Now, it's a night game. I'm not too happy about that. But regardless, it's going to be a fun night. This is a huge matchup. NFC East rivalry. I think this will be the third time the Philadelphia Eagles and the Giants met in the playoffs. This matchup is going to be storybook. The Giants are red hot. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to get right. And I think Jalen Hurts, I think this coaching staff had enough time to really revisit their flaws. We talked about this earlier in the season. We talked about this actually a few weeks ago, a handful of weeks ago. Maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I have a poor sense of time. We talked about this. The Philadelphia Eagles went on that 2-game losing streak. They lost to the Cowboys and they lost to the Saints. And I told you guys it might be a blessing in disguise. The reason for that is because losing forces you to revisit your flaws. When you lose, it puts pressure on your staff to really lock in on what you did wrong, right? Don't think this is going to be a cakewalk for the Philadelphia Eagles, you guys. I'm telling you, this is not going to be a cakewalk. The Giants are not going to lay down. Brian Daboll is going to have to coach his ass off, I'll tell you that, though. But so will Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon. This game is going to be about coaching more than anything. I do think the Eagles are more talented, but I think this is going to be about coaching. But before I get too far away from my point, I mentioned that this past 2-game losing streak the Philadelphia Eagles experience may be a blessing in disguise because it forces you to revisit your flaws. And you learn more from losing than you do from winning. Judge a man, judge the contents of his character during moments of chaos, not during moments of peace. You learn more about somebody when things are crumbling versus when things are being built up. Right? So the Eagles have had some time to really sit with how they've done things over the season, the past few games, how they've coached, so on and so forth. Obviously, Jalen Hurts and Lane Johnson have to get right. They got to get healthy. And I think they'll be fine for the game. Lane Johnson, I'm more concerned about. Will he be able to finish? That's going to be my concern. But Jalen Hurts, I know there is concern about his shoulder, but I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about Jalen Hurts' shoulder. Some people will say I'm crazy. Some people will say, I get it. But the reason I'm not concerned is because regardless of how it goes down, I fully anticipate Jalen Hurts to play his brand of football, regardless. This is the playoffs. You don't get here too often, and you also don't know if this is going to be your last game. You better play like it. And I expect that from Jalen Hurts. I expect that from the rest of this team. You see, Jalen Hurts is the tone setter. And that's what separates him from other quarterbacks in this league, right? He sets the tone. Teams have their quarterback that sets the tone. Yeah, they do. But the way Jalen Hurts sets a tone, his approach to not only his own work, his own craft, but his approach to leadership, being a leader of men. I'll follow Jalen Hurts to the depths of wherever he's taking us, to the trenches. Because the way his mindset works, the way he is, if he's cool, if he ain't panicking, I ain't going to panic. It's some people in your life that you have that if they say everything going to be okay, hey, I guess everything going to be okay then. You dig what I'm saying? Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you guys are just hopping in, we're recapping Wild Card Weekend. We're talking about the upcoming divisional round matchup between the Eagles and the Giants. This is going to be really exciting, you guys. We got to lock in as a fan base. We got to lock in. You know, we can't waste this opportunity having home field advantage going deep into the playoffs. You can't waste it. So let's do some more shout outs, man. Shout out to Drew Johnson, D. Aldrich, EC1 Football, Jinx Wolf, Quezzy the Great, Mrs. Bird Gang, Mr. Ralph Lauren, Smitty Eagle, Michael Duhan. Appreciate y'all for locking in on the content. But yeah, the Giants, super impressive win. Very impressive win, 31-24, and Daniel Jones is playing his best football. Now, can he sustain it? Can he sustain this level of football he's playing at? I don't know. I don't know. Am I concerned? Am I nervous? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm nervous. I don't fear no man. I don't fear no team, no organization. You got to come to Philly and show me what you're about, straight like that. That's how I'm carrying it. You got to come here and let me know. You can't think I'm gonna be afraid because you had a good game against the Vikings Swiss cheese defense. You got to do this consistently, Playboy. You got to come to Philly. You got to come to the link and let me know, hey, is Daniel Jones really like that? Is he like that? 24 for 35. I'll say it again. He had a career game. 379 total yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He had 17 attempts rushing, had like 70 plus yards rushing. He was in his bag. The Vikings had a hard time containing him. And the Eagles will have their hands full containing him because he will break the pocket, right? He's not afraid to run. He ran 17 times this past week. He's not going to be afraid to run. But they got to show me. What y'all think? Should we be nervous? I got the poll in the live chat. Make sure y'all comment below, and also make sure you guys put the put your thoughts in that poll, man. We got 21 people in the live stream. Damn, y'all showing love to the kid, and we got to keep this energy rolling. Smash that like button. You guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Like I said, we've been recapping Wild Card Weekend. If you're just hopping in, we've also been discussing injury concerns. We've been discussing coaching, all that kind of stuff, right? And we're going to really hash everything out as much as we possibly can. But I do want to continue to talk more about Wild Card Weekend, and we're also going to continue to hash out this Eagles versus Giants divisional round matchup, man. So much more to discuss, so many topics, man. But I left off by talking about the Giants beating the Vikings. The Cowboys play the Buccaneers tonight. That's going to be a really interesting matchup. The Cowboys are the more talented team. They are the more talented team. There's no question about that. But you never know what Cowboys team you're going to get. This is not me being a rival or being a fanboy of the Eagles. We're talking about the facts. We never really know which Cowboys team we're going to get. Are we going to see the Cowboys team that blew out the Vikings like 40-3? Are we going to see the Cowboys that lost in week 18 to the backups and the third strings of the Washington Commanders? Which Cowboys team are we going to see tonight? Because they're still playing Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is not a slouch. Tom Brady is not one of those players that you just go in there and say, we got it. Nah, Tom Brady going to play his best brand of football and they home. This is going to be an ugly game. I got the Buccaneers winning this game. See, the Buccaneers are going to have to put up some points. And Mike Evans is in his bag right now. So I got the Buccaneers winning this game 27-24. 27-24. That's what I got. I got the Buccaneers winning 27-24. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. But yeah, let's double back to the rest of Wild Card Weekend. I want to talk about that Jags game. See, I just want to briefly touch on them, and then we're going to get deep into the Giants Eagles. Is that okay with you guys? So yeah, let's do that. Jags and Chargers, man, oh man, what a game! How about that boy Justin Herbert? How about him? Everything was all good a week ago. You dig what I'm saying? But you blew a 27-0 lead, man. You were up 27-0 at one point. How does that happen? How does that happen? 27-0. The score was 27-7 going into halftime, but 27-0 at one point. The defense for the Chargers forced, I believe, 5 turnovers? 4 turnovers, something like that. They forced 5 turnovers. They won the turnover battle in deciding fashion. You gave your offense 5 extra possessions, and the offense couldn't score more points. Yeah, the defense has to answer for allowing the Chargers defense has to answer for allowing the Jags to put up 31 points. I get that part. I get it. But for the offense, for what is it? Joe Lombardi, is that his name? The OC for the Chargers, for Joe Lombardi and Justin Herbert to not be able to generate more than 3 points in the second half is disgusting. Disgusting. It makes no sense. Now, I'll say this. The Chargers' running game was non-existent. The Jags shut that right down. But damn, man, not having a running game to lean on means that your quarterback got to win that game for you, or at least close it out, right? I know the Jags stepped up, but damn, Herbert couldn't muster up 6 more points. He couldn't muster up a touchdown in the second half. That don't make sense to me. It doesn't add up to me. For someone as talented as him, for someone who gets as much media love, I don't understand how someone that talented, someone who's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best young quarterbacks in this NFL, how can he not muster up a touchdown in the second half? That's all. That's all they needed to win that game. You put up 30. You mean to tell me you couldn't get another field goal? That granted, Dicker the kicker missed one of his field goals. Okay, whoop-de-doo. We're talking about a kicker that was brought in mid-season. I'm not going to put my season in the hands of Dicker the kicker. I'm putting my season, my playoff hopes in the hands of my franchise quarterback and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, all they needed to do was get some first downs. You know what they decided to do? I think they threw the ball 3 straight times on that final drive of theirs. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they throw the ball 3 straight times? I'm about to find this out right now. I need to know. Like facts. Where are we? Okay, field goal. Or here we go, punt. All right, so the Chargers' final drive of the game. Remind you, the Chargers were up 30-28 at this time. 30-28 is 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. I'm sorry, I take that back. It's 5 minutes and 20. It's 5 minutes and 25 seconds left. 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So the Chargers have an opportunity here to put the game to bed. 1st and 10 at the Chargers 25. Justin Herbert sacked, loses 7 yards. Why throw the ball in that situation? Run the ball, get the clock going, gain 2 or 3 yards, and then now it's 2nd and 7, maybe 2nd and 8, maybe even 2nd and 6. You never know. But no, you decide to drop back, and your quarterback gets sacked. You lose 7 yards. So now it's 2nd and 17 on the Chargers 18. Now you got to go 17 yards to get the first down. Justin Herbert drops back again. He throws a short pass to Austin Eckler for 4 yards. So now 3rd and 13 on your own 22. It's 4 minutes left in this game, by the way. Justin Herbert throws it again to Kelly, whoever the hell he is, for 8 yards. 4th and 5. Make it make sense. So you only were able to waste 2 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock. Or 2 minutes and 16 seconds, whatever. Make it make sense. I understand the running game wasn't working. The Chargers had less than 70 yards rushing on the ground, something like that. They weren't really able to run the ball well. But in that situation, I'm running the ball because you never know. Austin Eckler could break one for maybe 5 yards, put you in a better position, put you in third and manageable. But you drop back and throw the ball 3 times. I would have never threw that ball on the opening play for that drive. Why? I don't get it. But that just goes to show you that coaching ain't coaching over there, man. They ain't doing their job over there. I don't know what Joe Lombardi was doing. I know a lot of us get on Brandon Staley about it. Brandon Staley didn't do himself any favors either, but Brandon Staley is not calling the plays on offense, right? Brandon Staley is not calling the plays on offense. Joe Lombardi is. So Joe Lombardi deserves just as much hate as Brandon Staley's getting. Just want to make sure we know exactly who to be mad at in that game. Now, granted, I had the Jags winning that game. I also didn't have Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 interceptions in the first half. But damn, I also didn't think they was going to be able to come back. But Dougie P, man. Dougie P is all about the ice cream. You feel what I'm saying? So, man, super exciting, man. That was real dope. That was real dope to see. Obviously, the Bengals beat the Ravens. I had a feeling the Bengals was going to win that game. It ended in dramatic fashion, but the Bengals took care of business. The Bills and the Dolphins, that was a hell of a game as well. Bills were in control of that game, but the Dolphins didn't let up. They forced turnovers, and that boy Josh Allen, man, he's turning that ball over at a very high clip, and it's going to happen when at the worst possible time. It's going to happen at the worst possible time. Josh Allen and them boys better get it together because some of them turnovers, man, they didn't look good. Now, granted, some of them were like tip passes or whatever, but he threw the ball. He put the ball in harm's way. Gotta give credit to Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins for fighting. Fighting, man. I think they lost that game 31-34. Gotta give Miami credit. They pushed the Buffalo Bills with the third string quarterback. Gotta give credit where credit is due. So shout out to the Miami Dolphins, man. I do want to say I feel like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle let Skylar Thompson down. But I don't know if y'all ready to have that conversation. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle let Skylar Thompson down. I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so we covered every matchup from the weekend. Once again, Dallas and the Buccaneers play tonight. Going to be really exciting. I'm watching that game. Can't wait. But let's get back to our Philadelphia Eagles, man. They will face off against the New York Giants in the divisional round, part 3. Not numero uno, not numero dos, numero tres. Part 3 between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. Jalen Hurts versus Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is playing his best football right now. The best football we've seen. Brian Daboll has that man playing out of his mind. Jalen Hurts trying to get healthy, coming off of that shoulder injury, but the MVP candidate, right? Let's not let it go forgotten. The MVP candidate, the second team All-Pro quarterback, got more votes than Joe Burrow, got more votes than Justin Herbert, more votes than Tua, more votes than Josh Allen for second team All-Pro quarterback. That's not by accident. That's not by happenstance. Now, sure, some people may say Josh Allen is a more talented thrower of the football. Okay. Justin Herbert is a more talented thrower of the football. All right. Joe Burrow, more talented throwing the football. Okay. Who give a damn? All right. Whatever. You got it. Okay. But what makes Jalen Hurts so amazing, what people don't want to talk about when it comes to Jalen Hurts for some reason, is his running ability, how dynamic he is, the impact he has on the Philadelphia Eagles offense. I bet any amount of money you put Jalen Hurts on the Chargers in that situation with the Jaguars, you put Jalen Hurts on that roster in that situation, the game is over. The game is over. You want to know why? Because Jalen Hurts gets first downs. Jalen Hurts sustained drives. You feel what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts would have got those first downs. He would have did everything possible. He would have used his legs. He would have did everything possible. And people have their own opinions about Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts, and people don't want to give Jalen Hurts his credit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Jalen Hurts is the top 10 quarterback. Justin Herbert is a top 10 quarterback. Josh Allen, top 10 quarterback. Right? Joe Burrow, top 10 quarterback. And some people wouldn't even fix their lips to put Jalen Hurts in those conversations. They wouldn't fix their lips to do that because they always go to the passing ability. And I understand Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are very talented passers, but Jalen Hurts gets it done his way and he wins. He's successful. He was an MVP candidate. Is his play style as sustainable as your stereotypical, prototypical drop back quarterback? Maybe not. But man, while he on the field, that boy's dynamic. That boy's dynamic. And like Mint Diggity said, Jalen Hurts will take a game over. That's how he balled. That's how he played. That's why I'm so disappointed in Justin Herbert, because I feel like he didn't take that game over. I felt like he had an opportunity to add another notch on his belt. And Justin Herbert disappointed me in his inability to take over the game. That's what separates, in my opinion, Joe Burrow from him, or Josh Allen from him, or Patrick Mahomes from him. And even Jalen Hurts from him. They take over games. They take games over. When things are getting a little rickety, when things are starting to get a little shaky, they take games over. Patrick Mahomes takes games over. I saw no swagger, no juice from Justin Herbert in that game. None. So I'm rocking with my man Jalen Hurts, straight like that. That's how I'm rocking. That's how I'm carrying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get into the whole nitty-gritty of dissecting who throws the ball the furthest. And I'm not getting into none of that. I'm not getting into none of that. I ain't got time to be debating who throws the best out route. You know what I'm saying? Oh, who throws the ball with the best spin, the best velocity? Or who throws the prettiest ball? I don't care. I don't care about none of that. Who winning? Who losing? Who team responds to them best? Who makes an impact? Who takes games over? See, I'm more about the storylines. I don't really get too deep into the numbers and the minutia and all the football nerd stuff. I don't get too much into that. That's not really my style. I more so love football for the narratives. I love football for the storylines and the legacies and guys being able to change the trajectory of their careers. I'm in love with the emotion of football, the ethos, the passion. That's the perspective I talk about football from. I don't get too deep into the numbers. I can have those conversations with people if they want to have those conversations, but I'm more so enamored with the storylines. That's what I love about the game. The matchups, the situational football, the decision making, right? I love that stuff about the game. You know, I don't take nothing away from the numbers. I don't take nothing away from the analytics. You know, you use the numbers to tell certain stories and improve certain points. Numbers do matter to a certain extent, but man, I'm in love with the win-loss column. Did you win or did you lose? Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions in that game, right? He threw 4 interceptions in that game and followed up with 4 touchdowns. Justin Herbert threw 1 touchdown in that game. No interceptions. It seemed like he was scared in that game. It seemed like he was afraid to take chances or make mistakes. What I loved about Trevor Lawrence in that game is he was letting it rip. And he said, look, listen, if we're going to go out, we're going out falling on our sword. You feel what I'm saying? If we're going to go out sad, we're going to go out falling on our sword, man, straight like that. Trevor Lawrence, despite the 4 interceptions, you forgot about him because they won the game. He threw 4 touchdowns, went off in that second half. Justin Herbert was trying to play so careful. I know I keep getting back to that Chargers-Jags game, and I'm sorry I keep doing that. This live stream is really about the Philadelphia Eagles going off against the Giants, man. So I don't want to get too far away from that. But, you know, I think the bottom line is, though, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will have their hands full against the New York Giants. They will have their hands full. You guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports with your boy, Tone DeShields II, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Appreciate the love and the support. Continue to smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That means a lot to me. If you guys noticed, if you're new, the only way you can comment below in the live chat is if you subscribe, right? And I'm doing that for my people. I'm doing that for the people who've been rocking with me for a long time. I owe them that. I owe them this forum. I owe them the sanctity of this space. If you want to chat with my people, if you want to get busy with my people, you got to subscribe and be a part of the family. Blood in, blood out. Hey, how they be treating those those conglomerates on the West Coast? You know what I mean? And in some of those cities, man, it is some blood in, blood out. We blood brothers, we blood sisters. You get in one way, you leave one way. So if you rocking, if you vibing with the show, if you like the energy I'm setting, if you like the tone that I'm bringing, or the energy I'm bringing, or the tone that I'm setting, you see, I'm all over the place with that. But if you vibing with the energy, you vibing with the passion and football talk, listen, smash that like button, make sure you subscribe. Because again, like I said, if you want to comment in this live chat, you got to subscribe, man. Blood in, blood out. Only one way in, only one way out this thing, man. Straight like that. So, should we be concerned about Daniel Jones and his Giants? Because what we saw in that Week 18 matchup, I don't put too much stock into that, by the way. Because Giants rested their starters, so they're playing with house money, really. Eagles, they needed to just get out of that game with the win, and they did that. But what's your expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of this bye week? They've had a lot of time. They've had a lot of time to really sit with what went wrong over the past several weeks, right? They had a lot of time to sit with it. And this Philadelphia Eagles team is talented. They got enough talent to run with anybody. Anybody you could think of, they got enough talent to run with them. So this ain't about that. This ain't one of those games where we walking into it nervous about, damn, do we got enough wide receivers? Can our guys catch the ball? Are they going to do their jobs? I expect the players, the roster, to do their jobs. The coaches got to push the right buttons at the right time, because Brian Daboll on those Giants, man, they pushing the right buttons at the right time. And Brian Daboll, those boys want to come back and get vengeance. They got smacked on their home turf. They're coming for blood. They're coming for blood. And this game is going to all be about intensity. This Eagles-Giants matchup is going to be about intensity. This game is going to be about who wants it more. Because the Giants are getting healthy. They got some guys back. They got Xavier McKinney back, their safety, who's a really good player. They got Adoree Jackson back, who's a solid corner. I don't think he's an A+ corner. I think Adoree Jackson is a B+ corner. He's a solid corner. But like Mint Diggity said, this ain't the same. This ain't the Vikings defense, right? The Vikings defense let Daniel Jones, let Saquon Barkley do all that. They let them boys do that. This ain't that defense. Say what you want about Jonathan Gannon. They've been the number 2 defense in the NFL for a reason. They got 70 sacks on the season for a reason. They're one of the top teams in terms of takeaways for a reason. For a reason. And ADW, I think you onto something. This is a game where you got to get your tight ends going, because the Giants can't defend tight ends. This might be a big Dallas Goedert game. You might see a lot of you might see AJ Brown not even have that big of a role this game. You might not see it. Now, Jalen is going to always target him. He's going to target him. He's going to make sure he gets his targets, and you got to give AJ Brown a shot with the ball, right? But I think this is going to be the Dallas Goedert game. That's what I think. We've been waiting for it all year, and I think this is the game where you got to get Dallas Goedert going. You have to. You got to get him going. Got to get him involved early. Smitty is going to make his catches. He's going to make his catches, and they're going to put Adoree Jackson on AJ Brown. So you got to take advantage and manipulate all the other matchups. You have to. Mr. Ruffo Lauren. Mr. Ruff Lauren says, I really don't see it being close, man. I really don't. How come? How come, Mr. Ruff Lauren? Not that I'm doubting your take, but I'm just curious. Like, why do you think it's not going to be close? Wicked One says, only thing I'm concerned about is coaching. I trust all of our players. This is going to come down to coaching, and this has to be a good game plan from offense and defense. I agree with you 100%. The coaching has to be spot on. Spot on. Wicked One says, I was born into a Raider family, and I thank God there are no Cowgirl fans in my family. You're either Raiders, Saints, or Bears. Oh, wow. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So wait, are you the only Eagles fan in your family? Wicked One says, I'm in Cali. Been repping the Birds since got you. Been repping the Birds since 2001. Nothing but Rams, Chargers, 49ers out here. And of course, that Dallas filth is out here too. Damn, man. Holding it down in California. Larry Marshall says, Tone, get ready for a new looking offense from us. I think they was holding out for weeks. Really? You know what? I thought about that too. I thought about that. Were the Eagles holding out these past few weeks? And I don't know. That's interesting, but that would mean that they've been thinking about the playoffs. I mean, and they should, but that would mean that they weren't even paying. They didn't even care about that Cowboys matchup. Really, that would mean that they didn't care about the Bears matchup, the Saints. That would imply that they've been sleepwalking this past month. That would imply that they were getting ahead of themselves. And I don't know how I feel about that logic, that part of it. You gotta be where your feet are. You got to focus on what's in front of you. But again, have they been holding things back? It's so possible. It's very possible. It's plausible. I'll say that. Man Diggity says, this ain't the Vikings defense. You so right, my man. Lala D, my bad. Lala D. I hope Sirianni and Steichen noticed the Giants' secondary couldn't stop the tight ends. Big facts. Mr. Ruff Lawrence says, who would you rather see when we do what we need to do next Saturday? Oh man. That's a good question. That's a real good question. Who would I rather see? So you're talking about the NFC Championship. I'll be honest with you. It don't matter to me. It doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter to me at all. But real quick, you guys, I'm going to take a 24-second break. Nothing more, nothing less. You guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got charges to the game. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. Be back in 24 seconds. Don't move. Like I told you guys, 24 seconds, and we got 24 people on the live stream. That's what I'm talking about. It's the magic number. Shout out to Kobe. Man, you guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got charges to the game. Now, if you're just hopping in on the content, if you're just getting into the live stream, I appreciate that. Smash that like button. It means a lot to me. Now, let's talk about some matchups, man. Miles Sanders and Saquon Barkley. That's going to be really exciting to watch, right? Now, obviously, Miles Sanders is going up against, the Giants front seven, Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. They're getting healthier. Kayvon Thibodeau was starting to play really good football. He's starting to get acclimated to this NFL speed. He's playing great football. That Giants defense, man, they're young, but they have some talent in some spots, but they're not as deep as the Philadelphia Eagles. So what concerns me about the Giants from their perspective is their lack of depth. In terms of when you compare it to the Philadelphia Eagles depth, right? So Miles Sanders has an opportunity here. Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, they have opportunities. I'm going to be paying close attention to the running backs. Are they averaging 4 yards a carry? Are they keeping us on schedule, right? It's all about being on schedule. If we see the Philadelphia Eagles in a lot of like second and long and third and long, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. But also, the Giants got to be mindful. Don't think Jalen Hurts ain't going to take off. He will take off. He's not afraid. He will take off. That's a fact. So don't think you can just blitz and play man-to-man all day. Believe it or not, I expect the Giants to try to do something similar that they did in the Vikings game. Play some zone, mix it in. But I think they're gonna still try to blitz. Wink Martindale, every time he played, he's blitzed Jalen Hurts. The numbers say Jalen Hurts isn't the best quarterback in responding to the blitz from a throwing perspective. That's just what the numbers say. but he knows how to get out of traffic. He knows how to maneuver, and he's been gashing. He's been gashing the Giants whenever they've tried to blitz. So I think this game is really a mismatch for the New York Giants. If we're just being completely honest, I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to run up the middle with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams being back. I don't think that's going to be able to happen. I think the Eagles are going to have to really try to take advantage of their speed on the boundary. They're going to really need to try to get this. First they're going to need to slow down the pass rush. They're going to need to slow down the blitz, and you do that by forcing these guys to go laterally. Force them to go horizontally. You burn them out that way, going sideline to sideline. You beat them with some zone run concepts. I think that's what we're going to see in terms of Miles Sanders' usage. But don't forget, Boston Scott is the giant killer. So it's going to be. I think this is one of those games where you got to stick with the hot hand. Who is killing it right now? Straight like that. Who's the hot hand? Where are you hiding? He says there's no way Danny Food Stamps throws 300 on our defense and rush for 70. Yeah, man, he better not. I tell you that. Otherwise, Jonathan Gannon ain't getting no head coaching job in the offseason. Espo, I know it hurts, says this will be a new look offense come Saturday. Mr. Ralph Lawrence says front seven nasty for real though, but I like our offense more for real. He also says not the best throwing during the blitz because my boy takes off and gashes them for 5 to 15 yards at a time. That's true. That's a fact. I don't want to make it seem like I'm denying that fact because I hate when people try to talk about Jalen Hurts as if his running ability doesn't matter. It matters a lot, and teams got to account for it. So no matter how you feel about Jalen Hurts' play style, teams have to account for his ability to get out of the pocket and make things happen. That's his sweet spot. That's his bread and butter. Ryan Rose says running back and playing man-to-man and more blitzing will create mismatches down the middle. Slow the. I think I get what you're trying to say, Ryan. I think I get what you're trying to say. EC1 says we need to unleash the giant killer. Man, this game is interesting because I think the Eagles can go about it several different ways. I think they can go about it a handful of ways, but I definitely think Dallas Goedert has to be involved in the game plan. It's no mistake they can't stop the tight end. Actually, don't be surprised if you start to see Dallas Goedert eating on third down specifically. Dallas Goedert, he has a very high catch rate, and on top of that, on third down, he is a menace. He's a menace. So don't be surprised if you see Dallas Goedert getting used a lot on third down. EC1 says AJ Brown about to eat. Smitty about to eat, man. Yeah, man. Let me ask you guys a question about Jalen Hurts. Are you guys concerned about Jalen Hurts' health right now? Are you guys concerned about Jalen Hurts' shoulder? Do you guys think he's going to be good to go? And what I mean by that is I want you guys to give me a percentage. Do you guys think Jalen Hurts is going to be 70%, 75%, 80%? 85%, 90%? Do you think the organization was kind of spicing the injury a little bit, kind of, laying some fool's gold out there? What percentage of ready do you guys think Jalen Hurts will be? Give me some percentages, right? Give me a percentage you're comfortable with. Are you comfortable with him being 75%, 80%, 85%? Larry Marshall says 80%. Birdman 951, 75%. Where you hiding says no concerns. Jalen is 95% right now. Okay. Dink Burrito, 84.5%. All right. Okay. Jinx Wolf, 80%. Lala D, I'm a little concerned, I'll say 65 to 70%. Ooh. Gene Beal, my man. Welcome back to the show. 100% ready. Okay. EC1 football, 100%. Birdman 951 says, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable at all. Mr. Ralph Lawrence is 80% before the game, maybe 65% after. He's going to get hit. That's a very interesting way of dissecting that, Mr. Ralph Lawrence, because you're right. He's going to definitely take some hits in this game. The Giants know about the injury. They know. They're aware. Ryan Rose says 100%. But Ralph Lawrence, they know he's dealing with some injuries. He's dealing with something nagging. So that's a very interesting way of looking at it, because if the Eagles win, obviously they need Jalen Hurts to be healthy for the NFC Championship game, right? So I think it's very realistic to think he's going to go into the game 80% and maybe leave the game 65%. That's reasonable, but I probably would say he goes into the game 85% and leaves the game 75%. That's what I think. Or he goes into the game 85%, he leaves the game 70%. I think that's realistic. He goes into the game healthy because listen, no one in this league at this point is 100%. No one. I know a lot of you guys dropped 100%. I think that's cool. But at this point in the season, no one is 100% healthy. No one. They're not 100% healthy. No one in this league is 100% healthy. So I think with knowing what we know about Jalen Hurts and his approach and, the nature of the injury, I think we can safely expect Jalen Hurts to go into that game 85%. 80 to 85%, and he might leave that game 65 to 70%. I think that's reasonable. But shout out to my man, Mr. Ruff Lauren, for bringing up that very interesting dynamic or that very fascinating way to dissect that situation. That's cool. I like that. I like that, man. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys want more analysis from my man, Mr. Ruff Lauren. Mint Diggity says 90%, but he will play like it's 95%. Okay. Larry Marshall says, like no one in the league right now is close to 100%, so 80% is better than most. That's reasonable. Lala D says, I would have felt better if he didn't have to play week 18. See, I wouldn't have. I wanted him to play and on some level because I would hate for him to have to come into that Giants matchup or any matchup really not throwing that football in live football action. I'm glad he went out there in week 18 because we saw him get hit a couple times. We saw how he responded. We saw how he got up. It wasn't his best game, but I think he played well enough to win. The Eagles were moving the ball. The problem was that the red zone offense fell flat. The Eagles moved the ball, no problem. That game really should have been like 34 to like what they beat him by? Like it was what was the score? What was the score in that game? I can't even remember. Shoot. What was the score in that game? I cannot remember to save my life. Eagles beat the Giants 22-16. That score should have easily been 34-16. The Eagles didn't take advantage of red zone opportunities. The Eagles moved the ball without a problem. They moved the ball with no problem at all. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that. I'm glad he played. Mr. Ralph Lauren says, so I'm more worried about next week. Okay. Birdman 951 says, I need the defense to make up the other percentage for the win. I like that. The defense definitely got to step up. But again, this is a good matchup, right? This is the perfect game for this team coming out of the bye. I think the Eagles couldn't have done a better job. I think this thing couldn't have landed better for the Eagles. This is perfect for the Eagles. This is a perfect matchup. I think the Eagles are just too talented. I don't think the Giants match up well with the Philadelphia Eagles at all. I just don't. Wicked One says, I know a few people who hurt their shoulder like Jalen, and most said, yeah, he was sore after throwing and getting it warmed up, but it's natural. So he should be 90%, and it's mostly pain tolerance. And I trust Jalen Hurts to get through the pain. That's a fact. ADW, the beat, says, real talk. Hurts and Dak are not just playing for their respective teams. They're representing the overall success of a class of quarterbacks this weekend. The narrative has already started. Hey, listen, man. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. So best believe we're on the same page. But I don't want Dak to win. I want Tom Brady to get in that ass. Wicked One says, it's just how sore he is, but I know he'll manage as long as he don't land on it like the Bears game. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough. EC1 says, Dak is trash. Please don't compare Hurts and Dak in the same sentence again. Thank you. I don't think Dak Prescott is trash, man. I understand he hasn't been protecting the ball that well this year, but I don't think Dak Prescott is trash. I've never thought that. Sorry, I had to take a water break. Fandom aside, I don't think Dak Prescott is trash. I just don't. Smitty Eagle 373. He says, Let's debunk this. It's hard to beat a team 3 times because my research tells me it's 14-7 toward the team that's 2-0. Yeah, man, that's a narrative that's been coming out a lot this year. And I've been hearing it. And I kind of leaned into it a little bit. I was one of the people that kind of bought into it a little bit. The only reason I say that is because, a team knows you after a while, right? They know your tendencies, all that kind of stuff, but you really never know who you're getting on any given day. So I think you could beat anybody 3 times in a row, man. It's football, right? The better team usually wins. Mr. Ruff Lawrence says defense getting healthy. I'm excited to see Sweat back. Him and Reddick. Hargrave is going to catch wreck. One thing to look out for, however, is the health of Lane Johnson. Wild stat, but we lose when he's out. Yeah, that is a wild stat, but we also got to keep in mind the context of that stat, right? When you read that stat, try to think about, okay, what games was he not there? What was the dynamic of the team? What kind of quarterback play were we getting? Was the entire offensive line healthy or unhealthy? That stat is kind of misleading if you ask me. I haven't done the research on it, if I'm being honest, but I just think that stat is a bit misleading. I think that stat is a little bit overinflated because I got a lot of faith in the rest in this offensive line. And I just think that stat probably comes from that 4-12 or 4-11-1 season. You know what I mean? I just don't think that stat is true to form. Because remember that one year, the whole offensive line was out instead of Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce was the only one that was there, and everybody else was just getting hurt left and right. So I don't know how much I buy into that. When Lane Johnson is there, we win. When he's not there, we lose. He helps. He makes the job easier. Yeah, for sure. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Lane Johnson doesn't matter, but I'm not buying too much into that record or to that stat. I'm just not leaning in on it. Gordon Turner, welcome to the show, my man. Appreciate you. He says, I hope it's not a repeat of the 1981 playoffs where the Giants won. Well, the Giants haven't won in Lincoln Financial Field in a long time. And I think this is going to be one of those games where we're led by the perfect quarterback. I think this team, this team is too talented. This team is too good. There's no way the Giants should come into Lincoln Financial Field and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no way it should happen. It should not happen. Will the game be good? Will the game be competitive? Hell yes. But there should come a point in the game where the Eagles just separate, like we saw in that San Fran Seattle game. They're going to play tough for a bit, and then it has to come a point in time where the Eagles just separate because they're that good. I know the past few weeks have gotten us nervous. I get that. But we can't deny what this team has shown us more times than not, right? We can't deny the trends. The trend is this Philadelphia Eagles team is better than what people think. This Philadelphia Eagles team has already been written off. I know the odds makers. I know the betting circuits have the Eagles as like 6 or 7 point favorites, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I just think this Eagles team is still being doubted. I think that people aren't even thinking they're going to get to the big game anymore. People have San Fran getting to the big game, right? So we're going to see how this thing pans out. We're really going to see, man. But man, I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me. This goes a long way. Continue to smash that like button. Continue to stay engaged in the content. We got 28 people in here strong, man. That means a lot, man. We're doing great things. It's a small number to some people. It's a big number to me, and I appreciate y'all. We're going to continue to grow this thing. So I want you guys. We're going to save our score predictions for later in the week. I don't want you guys giving any score predictions yet. If you do, that's fine. But I'm going to save my score prediction for later in the week. I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to give you guys that yet. I still got to think about that. I still got to figure out, okay, how are we going to score? What's going to be the dynamic? What's the vibes this week? What's the vibes in terms of health? So I'm going to take my time with my score prediction. I'm going to give you guys that probably on Thursday or Friday. It all depends, but we're going to be live, man, all week. Make sure you guys stay engaged with the content. Also, I appreciate you guys for locking in on my YouTube Shorts. The YouTube Shorts has been going crazy. Best believe you guys are a part of that. I appreciate y'all for sharing the content, liking the content, commenting on the content, and those of you watching the show after the fact, man, mean a lot to me, means a lot to me. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II, and you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And fly Eagles fly, baby.